Welcome back to Mystery in Rocky Mountain National Park. We're going to be reading Chapter 4 today, 1880, so we're doing another flashback. The boy lay completely still in the rafters, breathing through his nose and trying not to move. The makeshift loft was littered with burlap sacks, bundles of twine, and a nearly empty bottle of something caramel colored. From his perch he could hear the men's muffled voices and see the top of the shed's door. The pink light of dusk began to fade. All grew quiet as the deep blues of night crept over the ranch. Silence. Then footsteps. A clinking of spurs getting closer. The sound of the door's metal latch. He watched the door swing open. There was a pause. Then he heard the man swear. The kid escaped. His plan was working. Next came the sounds of men and horses, whistles, and the ranch boss yelling, "Hee-yaw!" Hoofbeats tore off into the distance. The boy stayed put, waiting for twilight to become darkness. When it came, he climbed down from the rafters and slipped out the door into the night. Drawn by his curiosity, he headed back to the creek. He had something to dig out of the ground. He searched for his pack and found it where he had stashed it in the rocks along the creek. The moon was up now, nearly full, and illuminating the mountain peaks in the west. He made his way to the marker, two fallen aspen trees, one set across the other. This was where the boss, the man in the leather cowboy hat, had buried it. The boy kneeled at the spot and clawed at the ground until his fingers scraped across something made of cloth. He pulled a velvet bag from the dirt and dusted it off. He had to know what was inside. What slid out of the bag was about the size of his hand, triangular and rounded. A layer of dirt covered much of its surface. At first he thought it was a rock. Then part of it glinted in the moonlight. Silver! That's why it feels so heavy. He hesitated. Before this moment he was just an intruder, some kid who'd wandered into the wrong place at the wrong time. If he pushed the bag back into the earth, they might forget about him. If he put it into his pack, he was certain to be hunted. And he didn't take things that weren't his. But he had heard about this in town. A local woman had found a store of Indian relics, ancient things, in a pottery container hidden near the old Ute Trail. People had been talking of because someone had stolen one of the more valuable objects from her home. The rumor was that it was made of silver. A sound in the distance broke the quiet of the night. Dogs. They had probably found his trail. He had just seconds to decide. He put the object back in its velvet pouch. Then he slipped the bag into his pack and melted into the darkness of the forest. Join us next time for Chapter 5.